So I have a fun trade idea. Some of you may not like it, some of you might. Please don't read too far into it because I know I've done a lot of videos on supporting Jaden Ivey as an athlete, as a player, and his potential for the future in this season. I think he's going to tear it up this season. And I think the Detroit Pistons will be better off for doubling down and investing in him. But just for the sake of conversation, and it's the off season, what the hell? While we wait for training camp to begin, let's just get into it. My trade idea. Jaden Ivey for Moses Moody. Jaden Ivey for Moses Moody. Now, I know some of y'all in Detroit might be like, who the hell is Moses Moody? Well, let me tell you about him. Moses Moody is a 6'6" shooting guard. I mean, 6'4.5" without shoes. Plays with shoes, so he's about 6'6". He was measured at in shoes in the draft combine. He's about 215, 220 pounds. Built a lot like James Harden. He has a 7-foot wingspan and a game like Rip Hamilton. Now, why I like Moses Moody. Some of y'all might be like, hey, you just finished talking us up on Jaden Ivey. Why are we talking about Moses Moody? Because I'm a huge fan of Moses Moody. And there's this dude who has this YouTube channel for the Golden State Warriors. His name is Athletic Alchemy, I believe it is. Something Alchemy. Look him up. Golden State Warriors, Alchemy. You'll probably find his channel. Either way, he's doing a trade proposal for the Golden State Warriors. And the first trade proposal he throws out there is Moses Moody, some random person on the team who doesn't play, and a first round draft pick for Jaden Ivey. Now, at first, I was intrigued because I haven't seen too many people looking to trade for Jaden Ivey, and I guess it speaks to his value throughout the league at this point after last season. Now, something I will point out. Talent wise, Jaden Ivey is still a far superior talent. I think his ceiling is somewhere along the production lines of a Zach LaVine. I think he can get up there to 25 plus points a game, hit a bunch of threes, dunk on a bunch of heads, develop his ball handling, his bag, finishing, and all of a sudden he's this 20 plus points per game, 5 rebound, 5 assist guy, right? And at the same time, I also think that he can find himself potentially in a better situation someplace else in a more defined role where he can just maximize his potential and become somebody like a Kentavious Caldwell Pope. Either way, Jaden Ivey has a bright future. All that's to say is that I still kind of like Moses Moody better for the Detroit Pistons. Now, why do you ask? I know some people might say, Rip Hamilton is a great comparison, and if he's that type of a player, ooh, we could definitely see how he could fit into Detroit because you remember who Rip Hamilton was in the past from that last championship team. However, there's some other things about Moses Moody that I think are going to distinguish him that can make his fit that much more salivating, that much more intriguing for Detroit Pistons fans. One, let me point to the fact that he's 6'6", 220 pounds at this point. If you watch his highlights from last season, even just how his body has filled out, you begin to really see that he is a big shooting guard. He is a big shooting guard, and the name that came to mind for me was Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton was a big, small forward, very skilled, great footwork, shooting touch, has a really nice game. And at 6'8", he had great size for his position. But he wasn't an elite athlete. He wasn't a dunk on your head athlete, though he has some pretty good posters, and so does Moses Moody. But his skill level and his basketball IQ and positional size allowed him to be a huge factor in maximizing his abilities. And he even made an all-star team, I believe, and has an NBA championship. Right? Moses Moody is a similar type of player. Not the same ceiling as what some of these superstar players are, but at the same time, I think his fit can be that much better. His size, for one, especially the way the Golden State Warriors have utilized him over the past season or two, is that he is a switchable defender that's able to defend throughout along the perimeter throughout the game, whether it's switching on to small ball forwards, guards, and wings. But he's in that Swiss Army knife of a role. And I think that that's something that could really help out the Detroit Pistons perimeter defense along the way. At the same time, you also have Moses Moody's connection to Cade Cunningham. Yes, this is the same Moses Moody and Cade Cunningham who dominated at Montverde Academy alongside Scotty Barnes. Um, I don't believe Evan Mobley was a part of that team, but who knows? All to say is that was when Montverde Academy won a championship, state championship. They were the number one ranked team that season, and Moses Moody was the guy between Scotty Barnes and Cade Cunningham. One thing I love is chemistry on a team. Guys who trust each other, guys who know each other's games and play off each other extremely well. I think Moses Moody is going to be able to play off of Cade Cunningham immediately, just totally leapfrogging that big question mark about continuity and fit. We know these two fit. We know they have a history of success. We know that they understand each other's games because I am somebody who truly 100% believes that who you are in high school, by that time you get into that senior year, is who you're always going to be in your life. Now, you can improve who you are in terms of what your game is and how you're going to play. You can maximize it by getting stronger, developing better footwork, a better jump shot, things like that, ball handling. But your game and who you are generally stays the same. And for us basketball players, for us hoopers, we understand there's a difference between your talent and your skill and what your game is. What is your game? And Moses Moody's game in that Rip Hamilton style, I believe, really fits next to Cade Cunningham in his style that's far more Chauncey Billups esque. Slowing it down, let's set the pace of the game. Let's make sure we execute on offense and get a great shot every time down the court. Now, I, for one, think that Jaden Ivey and Asar Thompson on the wings gives the Detroit Pistons a component that should allow them to find success next season, being able to get out into transition, and how that is going to force teams to have to play a different style of offense, knowing that they got to get back against elite athletes. And I think that's going to open up a lot for them, being able to get into their offense when they catch that defense scrambling with the transition offense of the Detroit Pistons. But at the same time, I also think that Moses Moody's athleticism is not bad. It's good enough to be able to fly up and down the court. But I think what is going to help out even more is his perimeter defense and his fit next to Cade Cunningham. He's a far more consistent shooter, like I said about the Rip Hamilton type of style, except he can shoot threes, plenty, with a great high release. He's able to shoot from range, off the catch, and he makes great decisions. Think about Rip Hamilton mixed with a nice little blend of Malcolm Brogdon, right? Always seems to be in the right place, making the right decision, the right read, helping your team to win. And that's Moses Moody. Now, on the other side, I think Jaden Ivey would be a great fit next to a Stephen Curry if he eventually gets that role. I think he could fit there nicely and really slide into that KCP type of a mold where he's focused on his defense, focused on hitting wide open threes and getting out in transition. And if he can do these things along with moving without the ball, hey, KCP 6'5" also, and came out of college as a big time athlete. Jaden Ivey is the same. And I think in a defined role, he can have an amazing career. And so I think both situations would be great. I think it would also create a clearly defined kind of outlook for him with the Golden State Warriors because he knows he's fitting into a specific offense and next to a specific player. Now, I don't think the Golden State Warriors do it because I don't think Jaden Ivey reads the game well enough to really earn the trust of a Steve Kerr, who's not a developmental coach. Nor does he do the best of fitting guys in to maximize their abilities, which means that either you come in like a KCP or you stay at wherever just about you're at and hope to find minutes. Because, like a Mr. Moses Moody, he's still looking to find minutes despite being a lottery pick. So, all that's to say is, I think this would be a cool trade for the Detroit Pistons. Why they might pursue it, however, it kicks the can down the road for the Golden State Warriors to have to worry about free agency for Moses Moody, because then they won't have to worry about it for another 2 years for Jaden Ivey. Secondly, on that team in a different role, he has a different outlook and different ceiling, which means that his bargaining is going to be a lot easier for his next contract in 2 years. And they have 2 more years to see if he's a good fit next to Stephen Curry, or it could be the future next to Brandon Pajemski. All right. If so, great. If not, okay, they can kick the can down the road again and trade him again. All right. But it also helps them with their salary cap situation. We all know the situation they're in. They couldn't retain Clay Thompson. And so now they're trying to patch things back together again, but still dealing with that second apron hard cap. Now with Moses Moody, I think the Detroit Pistons might want him because he solves their continuity and position of the future. I think if he's brought there, he immediately is a starting shooting guard, and I think he does a great job as a two-way player who has great chemistry basketball IQ, and we could see the next Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars backcourt for the Detroit Pistons. Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton backcourt, right? Moses Moody and Cade Cunningham, high school sweethearts, high school best friends, teammates who come back after all that success and winning and bring that success to the Detroit Pistons. But as always, I want to know what you all think. Get at me in the comment section, share the video, and I'm out. Peace.